Good afternoon, everyone. Happy transfer deadline day. And by happy, I mean deadline day. Guys and girls, welcome to every single one of you in the chat. Sava here from Sava Talks Football. By myself today. So what I will do is in 5 or 10 minutes, I will put the link into the chat. And if anyone would like to join, you can certainly join and come on and have your moan, your vent. You can praise if you want to. You can berate if you want to. Let me know how you feel the window has gone. But please, before anything, please smash that like button. There are currently 58 of you in the chat. Smash the like button. It really does help. I'll be going live for an hour, just over an hour or so. And then I'll be live from about 5 o'clock with Henry right the way through until midnight. Guys and girls, where are we? Let's look at the headlines and then we will go through it one by one. Pedro Poro. Anyone else bored of the name Pedro Poro? Pedro Poro is going to be a Tottenham player, but he's going to be a Tottenham player on loan until the summer. Apologies for my light. I'm not sure what's going on there. Apologies. It will go off in a second. Pedro Poro on loan. On loan. 4.4 million they're talking about. 4.4 million. And then he will be a Spurs player in the summer. Apparently that's what Sporting Lisbon wanted. Let's be really, really honest. Daniel Levy licking his lips at such a deal. Licking his lips. That little guy there smiling all of the way to the bank that he's managed to bring in 2 players on loan. So you've got Pedro Poro coming in as a right wing back. Still, it's 3 p.m. There's 7 hours and 55 minutes of the window to go. And he has still not completed medicals and is still not a Spurs player yet, but he will be. He will be. Then we can look at Jed Spence. Jed Spence is going out on loan to Rennes. He's going on loan to Rennes. We will talk about that. Another right wing back that is going out on loan to Atletico Madrid. Who would have thought this? Atletico Madrid. Matt Doherty's having a better transfer window than Tottenham Hotspur. He's going from Tottenham Hotspur to Atletico Madrid. What a lucky guy. How? Why? Why are they getting... Oh, I don't know where to begin with this one. We'll get into that as well. Tanganga, not allowed to leave the club apparently, because that would mean they have to replace him with a homegrown player. Lots and lots going on here. People are asking in the chat already. I will get to the chat. Sorry, it's very rude of me not getting into the chats already. Lots of people asking about Hincapié. I've not seen anything today about Hincapié. It's 3 o'clock. There's just under 8 hours to go. Spurs took nearly a month to get Pedro Poro over the line on a loan. Still not even done. Does anyone truly believe we'll get Hincapié as well? For me, I am not even going to rate the window out of 10. I don't even think it needs it. I'm just going to say this. For me, an absolutely shambolic window yet again from Tottenham Hotspur. And I would ask if anyone in my chat is wanting to tell me any differently that this is not shambolic, I will put the stream link into the comments section in a minute, and you can come on and talk to me about it. I think that I will get a blank on that one. It's just terrible, isn't it? We go into this window knowing we need right wing backs, right? We get rid of 2, bring in Poro, and keep arguably the worst right wing back at the club. And by arguably, I mean I'm being polite. So we're keeping Royal. Royal has survived the right wing back hole. Emerson Royal. Nothing surprises you at this football club anymore, does it? We knew we needed central defenders. We needed 2. 1 would have been a magnificent start. Bring in a top centre-half. Bring in a centre-half. And yet we haven't, have we? And unless that changes in the next 7 hours and 53 minutes now, I can't see where we go from there. Every time they go to Michael Bridge at the training ground, I don't see anything. I don't see anything of him talking about any other potential incomings or outgoings. Romano hasn't said anything. Ornstein hasn't said anything. All the usual players. No one's talking about anything going on at this club. So listen, I'm going to put the link in the chat. If anyone does want to come on, then please feel free. Normal rules apply. You must have your camera on. Please do not be walking around your kitchen and doing this and doing that. Please be stationary, have a camera, be somewhere quiet, and you are more than welcome to come on and tell me your points, and then I'll let you off and somebody else can come on. Meanwhile, while all this has been going on, big up Perchy, big up Martin. Meanwhile, big up Perchy. Hope you're well, my man. I'll bring you in 1 second, brother. Yiddy71, I don't believe this transfer window deserves me to wear a yellow tie. Somebody messaged me earlier. I think he's in the chat. He's in the chat. Phil P messaged me earlier and said we've got more loans than Nationwide. And I think we're at a position where Martin, I'll bring you on in a minute, my friend in the background. We're in a position where we've loaned 2 players. We've loaned 2 players. We've loaned out another 2, and we've already got 9 out on loan. That's going to be 11 loan players out that all need to come back in July or June. All need to come back.
It's 12 if you count Troy Parrott.
12 if you count Troy Parrott. Of course we count Troy Parrott. He's a Spurs player. So, meanwhile, looking away from Spurs, you've got Man United in talks with Sabitzer on loan. I'm seeing Spurs fans on social media sites going, we wouldn't want him anyway. Have a day off. Of course you would. Have a day off. Leicester City are signing players today. Bournemouth are signing 2 players for over 20 million today.
Southampton, we were heavily linked with as well.
Absolutely. Zabani, the centre-half, who is highly rated. You've got Southampton have just signed a £22 million striker. Nottingham Forest have signed Felipe from Atletico Madrid. John Joe Shelby. There is a lot going on at other clubs, not at Tottenham. I'm just interested to know all the people that have for years that have said to people like me and you, Perchy, that we're negative, that wait till the window shuts. I don't know how many more windows have to shut and end like this, mate, before everyone is on the same page that these owners need to go. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. No, so this window is horrendous. My camera keeps turning off. Sorry. Oh, what is this? What is going on? I'm having a...
You're having a Daniel Levy right now, aren't you? You're having a real moment. Martin, I'm going to bring you on in a second. No, I'm not pranking you. Pedro Poro is a loan deal until July when it will be made permanent. He's coming on loan. So that means this window, Spurs have spent £4.4 million. Embarrassing. Perchy, you back with us? No, you got no sound. Let me bring in Martin. Let me bring in Elias. Is it Elias or Elias?
Elias, yes, correct.
Elias. Nice to meet you, my friend. Martin,
Nice
how are you? You well?
Hi, mate. You good?
Yeah. Listen, not too bad. You know what? These sort of days used to get me down, but I think we're all used to it. Soren's here. Elias, let me come to you. What do you make of this? Because I'm not sitting here suggesting as a fan that we should go and do what Chelsea are doing. Yeah, I know we can't go and do what they're doing. But the fact that we sat here, brought in 2 players on loan, spent 4.4 million when we're in a Champions League a Champions League race, and everyone else is strengthening. What are we doing, mate?
Lack of structure, lack of ambition, and lack of planning, lack of clarity, everything. Like, I mean, I don't even see any plan there.
Yeah,
you
right.
know that any blind person can also tell the problems in this club are their backline, their center backs, and we don't even see the gaps where we need to fill in the problems are not even being filled. And the players that we have signed, I mean, Pedro Poro, decent player, he's coming on loan, but even that doesn't fix the problems of the club. I mean, you sign a right wing back, does it actually help you to strengthen your backline? I don't think so. Your backline is your backline, the back 3. We are not getting any player there. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It is, isn't it? Martin, let me bring you in here. I mean, look, Pedro Poro is going to be a loan at first. I've said in the last week that even for me now, the Pedro Poro deal I've lost all excitement for it, where it's taking us 31 days to get him over the line, and in the end, it ends up being a loan. What do you make of it, mate?
Piss take, isn't it? Absolute piss take. I mean, are there actually people that are calling us negative? People that think that this is disgraceful?
Well, you get people like Faz that still say things like it's not shut yet. And
I've got anyone else now.
What can you do in like 4 or 5 hours now?
Look, I can't see any
It's done,
problem with
isn't it? Let's
loan
be honest.
players. I mean,
I had to ask you in your chat, is it a prank? Are you joking? Are you actually pranking me, or is this supposed to be what we accept?
yeah, apparently this is what we accept. This is what we accept. I mean, Soren, listen, what I like about you, Soren, is you're neither Enoch in, you're neither Enoch out. Just give us the view of someone who is neither of those things, looking at this window. How we look? Yes, it's not shut, but I think we all realise if it takes 31 days to get Pedro Poro on loan, the chances of getting someone over the line in the next 7.5 hours is going to be very, very slim.
I've been quitting smoking. I've not had a cigarette for 2.5 months, and look what Levy's done to me.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. On behalf of Daniel Levy, I'm sorry that you decided to smoke again. Soren, what do you make of it, mate? Give me a level-headed view if you can.
I've just been actually looking around for my tin hat because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get slaughtered today. Look, I'm still going to look on it a little bit more positive than I think most of you lot are. I don't think there was any chance, or there was very slim chance, that Sporting were wanting to sell this guy. And the fact we have got him just shows that there is some positivity in the window. Not a lot, I admit.
We do.
And the fact of from what I'm hearing, I could be totally wrong. The fact that we've taken him on loan in order to be able to trigger the release clause in the summer.
Right.
That's the way I've heard it. I might be wrong. I'm sure.
I was going to say I've read it slightly different. I think it's to allow Sporting to account for their money into the next financial year, basically.
I've got a question.
That's what I've read.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think the problem is there is so many contradictions going around. We don't really know what the exact thing is. The fact that I think the one thing that shows a little bit of a piss take really is the fact that we've hired some agency to go do the deal. Don't know why. And then the guy that we always say takes the piss goes in and gets it sorted within a few hours. And if it wasn't for Levy, then would we have got him? You know, I mean,
Goblin needs to get out of my club.
PR did well for that, didn't it? I tell you what.
Yeah.
Hang on, just quickly, Haz, is it your birthday, my man?
Yeah, actually, it's my birthday.
Big up. Big up. Happy birthday, you've got someone on loan.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Hang on.
How many of our starting 11 players do we actually fully own?
I think it's 3 I read today.
We don't own Kulusevski, we don't own Bentancur.
We do own Bentancur.
We do own Bentancur.
We do own Bentancur.
Someone said it's 3 on Twitter.
We got 4 loan now, and that's the max you can have on loan.
Yeah, but
right, okay.
Without being funny, do you not think it's kind of sensible in some times to do that? I mean, had we taken another on loan before we bought him, we might never have had him in the long run.
Now listen. Yeah, you're in the sense of it. Yeah, there's no real problem with the loan deal with Poro and Kulusevski, but it only benefits in the sense that means that we can then go and refrain from paying now and pay later in a sense, but we can go and buy something later. So if we'd gone out in this window and gone and bought a big centre half, you'd gone, do you know what? Makes sense. But we're not doing that. So it kind of it doesn't.
But Perchy, didn't we do that with Romero as well? And then they said they claim they spent all the money in that budget.
Romero's in a
Aren't we getting to the point? Hang on, sorry.
I don't know if a lot of people know, but our owners are actually richer than, Todd Bowley.
Yeah, I know. I read that.
Yes, they are.
You can't do what Chelsea are doing. Why can't we do what Chelsea are doing?
Hang on. Hang on. One at a time. This is slightly not true, though. Todd Bowley doesn't own Chelsea on his own.
No.
Todd Bowley is part of a consortium that between them, I think, have something like £84 billion, or I don't know the exact number, but it's ridiculous. However, I think once you get into the realms of having £4 or £5 billion of your own money, I don't really think it's a conversation. But look, for me, I've got no issue with Pedro Poro being alone. I don't have an issue with that. But my issue is now, okay, you've bought in Pedro Poro and Danjuma on loan. So why was there no money to go and get a centre half that you need? Why was there no money to go and get a creative midfielder that you need? Or
you looked at our team and gone, right,
Bernardo Silva is available apparently.
Hang on, guys, sorry, it's got to be one at a time, or I will start getting people off. I've got to be able to hear everyone. Sorry, go on, Martin, say that again.
Who's looked at our team and gone, right, we desperately need a right wing back, we desperately need centre backs, a keeper and a left wing back. I know what we'll do. We'll sign Danjuma.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but listen, I've said this before on many other channels. I think everyone's going mental about the Danjuma deal. For me, the Danjuma deal isn't the deal to beat the owners with. The Danjuma deal is Brian Hill's going out on loan to to Seville. Yeah, I think they want him to get first team football. They've brought in a better player than Brian Hill to fill that void as a backup forward. This guy hasn't been bought. He's not, listen, let's be really honest. It doesn't matter who wants him to or what. He's not playing in front of Kane. He's not playing in front of Son. And he's not playing in front of Kulusevski. This guy will play when one of them is injured or suspended. He'll come on with the last 20, 30 minutes of games. This isn't the deal to beat them with.
Even in the summer, though, you look at the summer and you think, again, desperately need defenders, desperately need goalkeeper. I know, we'll spend 50 million on Richarlison.
James Atwell, I mean, listen, come on, the link's there, my man. Come on. Mr. Negative, listen to what we're saying. Everyone's happy we've got a right wing back. The problem is we haven't addressed a single other issue at the football club. Perchy, let me come to you. I think this is the thing I think everyone's said from the moment they heard this morning that it was going to be a loan deal. I think every WhatsApp group I'm in has said the same thing. Cool. All right. So then let's use that money to go and buy a centre-back. Right? But again, they've not purchased. We're not even in talks of a centre-back, are we? It's embarrassing.
But this is what me and you said. I spoke to you off stream before about this. As I said, I've got no issues with Danjuma on loan. I've got no issues with Poro on loan. It's irrelevant. All it is just a way of moving the finances to next season. Who cares? It doesn't make any difference in our thing. What it does mean financially is whatever money that we were going to be investing in Poro now is going to be done later on in next window. We can go out and get someone now, but we haven't even. And as you say, the key part about it hasn't even been any links. And normally when there's links, there's smoke, which means that there was a specific fire somewhere. So even if it was that we inquired about a player, nothing's even come up about that. We haven't even had inquiries about players. So which tells me that we haven't even been actively looking in the market. And because I said, you take a pinch of salt with a lot of stuff you read on posts and stuff and all that lot. And it kind of gets to that point where you're like, we're crying out for a centre half. Like, how can we on streams and stuff see this, but people in the hierarchy of our football club not see it? I don't understand that part.
They are blind.
Just point something out though. We're all saying this, and we all agree we need a centre back and a left centre. I don't think there's anybody that will say that, but there's one main person in this, not in this chat, but in the conversation that we're kind of not talking about, and that's Conte. If Conte isn't asking for that centre back, why are they going to go buy it? Because we don't know, but maybe he isn't. We don't know if he's going to be there in 6 months in the summer. So maybe that's why we're not looking to do. The club have already said, from what I understand, that in the summer we will be buying a goalkeeper and a centre back as a bare minimum. Now, look, whether you trust
why
Levy
wait
or
for the summer?
That's already been said.
Hey, guys, one at a time. Guys, listen, I will start. It's got to be one at a time, please. It's got to be, everyone let people finish their point, please.
I mean, we all sit here and we did exactly the same in the summer where we said we needed a right back. Look, nobody's talking about a right back. Why aren't we talking about, well, we've gone and bought a right back 6 months too late, but we've bought him, or we've got him on loan, whatever way you want to. So we've done that. We've addressed that. Why did we get Danjuma? Well, the fact is, Brian Hill, as much as I think he's a great player, he's not ready for the Premiership yet. So we've got a player that's more ready for 6 months. We've taken Jed Spence out, which for God knows why he was ever bought in the first place. Long term, obviously. He's not a Conte player. He was never going to get played, so he's gone. Looks like Doherty's going. So the only thing I can get from all this is that maybe there is a glimmer of hope that Conte is going to actually sign a contract, and all that no, he's not, yes, he is, no, he's not, might get sorted in the summer, who knows. But why are we then going to go and buy loads of players again now, thinking he's not going to be here in the summer?
I agree with you to an extent. What I agree with you is if he's not going to... Hang on, guys, please, one at a time. This has got to be one at a time. Or I promise, next time it happens, I will start getting this panel down to 3 or 4. I hear what you're saying, Soren. I see the logic in it, in the fact that if Conte's not going to be here, why are we going to bring in players? But for the good of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, we are crying out for centre backs, crying out for centre backs. It is so painful when you watch us play Preston and you see Davinson Sanchez can't defend against a Preston forward who hasn't got more than 4 goals all season. Surely.
I don't disagree with you. And, I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't need one, because it's obvious we do, and everybody can see it. The problem is, like I say, if Conte isn't pushing for this, wanting a centre-back, then the board aren't necessarily going to go. And if they go out and buy a centre-back and Conte doesn't want him, he's not going to get played anyway.
I disagree with that, sorry.
Because, I knew you would at some point.
Because a centre-half can fit in any system. So if you go out and buy a quality centre-half, then it's not like you're going to waste the money, are you?
No, and I do get that. And I mean, I fully expected by the end of tonight, Hincapi would be a player for us. The way it was starting to just creep in a little bit, I really thought we might do something there. I mean, I don't think we're gonna now, but
from what I read, I've heard that they were asking for stupid money for him, and we just now we get and I said I don't mind that, by the way. Like when people talk about transfers and stuff, if a player gets they get unrealistic transfer fees, I understand this as a football club to not go, no, look, do you know what? We're not going to get involved with that. But this is why I get so annoyed with the whole Pedro Poro one, because I said, it should have taken till the 31st day of a 31-day window for us to sign a player, where that we should have dealt with that weeks and weeks ago, because at least it would have given us 2 or 3 weeks to go and say, do you know what? Let's identify a centre-half to help this football club. I do agree with a lot of what you said, by the way.
Yeah, I agree with what you just said, but I would also just put in a little bit that why can't we do more than one deal at a time? It's all right saying, Pedro Poro's taking us 31 days to get over the line. That's because by the look of it, Sporting were not prepared to sell. So you can't blame that on us. What you can
you can blame that on us. Sorry.
No, you can't.
You can.
No, because there is no definitive.
That's the money.
It's not down to money.
It is down to money.
It is.
How is
it down to money with Tottenham?
How is it down to money? If Levy has already said that he's going to pay the 45 million, how is it down to money?
He says a lot of things.
Can you categorically guarantee me 100% that release clause was in the contract? I mean, I'm going to...
It's not about that. Sorry,
okay.
But what I'm saying is, Tottenham have offered the money, and Sporting have said no because they don't have to sell him. You can't make them.
Go on, Elias.
Okay, let's just say that, yes, this problem occurred in last 24 hours. But even before that, when it was clear that the release clause is 45 million, we have heard news previously as well that, yes, that we were offering the bid below that release clause, way below that release clause. I think the initial bid was like 30 million, then we went to 35, 40, and then eventually 45 million. I mean, if yes, Daniel Levy knows that the release clause is way above, and then he has been stalling the deal, Sporting would definitely do something like that as well to actually meet their requirements. So you can't fully blame Sporting as well.
No. what I've just said is, can you categorically guarantee there was a release clause? Because nobody seems to know if it was true or not.
There
Soren,
was.
I see it a different way. Soren, I see it a different way. Release clause or not, right? When we're saying it's not Spurs' fault if it takes 31 days and they're messing us about, Pedro Poro isn't the only right wing back in world football.
No,
Exactly.
Right? So this is my point. When people in the chat are going, "Oh well, Hincapi, they want 50 million," I hate to break it to people as well. Hincapi is not the only centre back in world football. This is their jobs. Their jobs are to go, we would like one of these players from this 5 here, and this 5 here, and this 5 here. Have the talks. If you can see the Poro deal was taking that long, right? Go somewhere else. But I agree with you, Soren. Why are we not doing deals alongside each other? It shouldn't be.
Just to quickly answer that, Sava, because I can see Eugene wants to come in. Just to quickly answer that one. I forgot what I was going to bloody say now. Shit. No, go on, move on. I've gone.
Eugene, welcome, my man. You all right?
Yeah, hi guys. Hi, happy birthday, Harry.
Hey,
hi
thank
guys,
you.
everyone. Bertie, Elias. Elias is my fellow YouTuber from Malaysia. Right, nice to see him on streams nowadays. My biggest weird feeling about this transfer window is that we weren't linked to 3,000 players. Every transfer window, we seem to be linked to 3,000 players, right?
Sure.
And we and somehow this transfer window was like the only player that we were going after was Poro.
Yeah.
The whole 31 days we were going after Poro. What the hell's wrong with our club nowadays, right? Is it because Paratici has got his shit all tied up, right? He can't do anything, and now everything is down to Levy to do it, right? Of course, Levy's gonna do it. He's the one. In the end of the day, he's gonna approve everything.
He's always done it.
Yeah, he's always done it. So it doesn't baffle me that Levy went over to negotiate and seal that stupid deal, right? Of course, he's gonna seal that deal. He's the only one's gonna seal that deal. Nobody else is gonna bloody seal that deal apart from Levy, right? But the weirdest thing is that we focus on Poro for 31 days without any other links to a centre back, right? And all of a sudden we get Danjuma, right? A forward player that is supposed to come in to become a backup for Son or Kane or whoever is supposed to be a backup for. But while that happened, it came like some kind of knee-jerk kind of signing because, come on, guys, we hijacked a player from Everton. Woohoo! My God, what the hell's wrong with us?
That's a big deal.
If you told us we hijacked a player from Chelsea, then I would have gone woohoo, right?
Yeah, but
Come on,
Eugene,
guys.
I think that's the wrong transfer to beat the owners with, as we've said. I'm seeing so many other YouTubers just focusing on Danjuma. And for me, this is not a concern. Danjuma is not a concern.
Danjuma becomes another smokescreen, Sava. Don't you see
For what? He's just replacing Brian Hill. He's just
It's nothing.
smokescreen. It's just another distraction because the fan base is already going crazy. 30 days, we haven't signed anyone. 29 days, we haven't signed anyone. Everybody on YouTube is saying that. We haven't signed anyone. It's like a clock counting down. We haven't signed anyone.
Can I ask a question?
What's that got
quickly?
to do with Danjuma? I don't understand.
No, it's got nothing to do with Danjuma. It's just getting someone in. You know, it's just like, I'm going to sign someone, just bring in the body.
Hang on, guys. Oh, please, everyone, just let people. Oh, please. It's really winding me up.
Calm down.
Please. Sorry, Eugene. Please finish.
No, what I'm saying is that we've seen this over and over again. When the fan base go crazy, they will throw in somebody. It doesn't matter whether it's Danjuma, Manzuma, Kamzuma, right? Whoever we sign, then the fan base goes, oh, we got a player, right? But that's what I'm saying. Every transfer window, if you're really a Spurs fan for so many years, right, you will see the trend is there, right? The fan base will go crazy, right? And then the pressure will come. Then things are done last minute. Then the fan base calms down, right? Then somehow or another, that's what I'm saying. This transfer window is weird in a way that we only focus on one player, Poro. And I'm going like, last transfer window, we did all our business early, and we will still link to about 3,000 players around the world, right? But in the end, we didn't get anyone at the closing of the window. But this transfer window, this is happening again.
Let me, Eugene. Okay, let me. I want to come to Pyrex quickly. Eugene, listen. Just before I do Pyrex, I agree with you, Eugene. I do. But I do feel though is that, and bearing in mind, I will keep saying this. Bearing in mind, I am also Enoch and Levy out, right? Bearing in mind that I am Enoch and Levy out. Too many fans are using the Danjuma deal to bash the owners when the Danjuma deal is the one that makes sense because Brian Hill has gone out on loan. That's all this is. It's a simple Brian Hill's gone out on loan. Danzuma's come in to replace him. For me, that shouldn't even be talked about. What should be talked about is where's the centre backs? Where's your centre mid? That should be the issue, not a backup forward that we need. Because the thing is, Eugene, I'll say this: the same fans, and they know who they are, the same fans that are going on streams and calling out why Danzuma's this awful player, which he is not. Right? He is not an awful player. The same fans that are going on and calling him out are the same fans that when we line up and they see our 9 substitutes go, we've got no forwards on the bench. We get a forward to go on the bench. It's, why have we brought this guy in? He's not fit to lace Son and Kane's boots. Well, no, of course he's not, because Spurs can't go and buy a Hong-Min Son or a Harry Kane in this market. So it doesn't, for me, it doesn't make sense. But listen, Pyrex, big up, my man. How are you? You all right?
I'm good, man. Let's have it right. Top the minerals, man. You know what I mean? We came here to land, and we're here to expose the wrongins. You know what I mean? And the wrongins are the Levy out. Sorry, not Levy out. Not Levy out. Levy in. The Levy inners, man. Misinterpreted. So you guys should have got the centre back, man, because that's the key position. There was like a lot of good Premier League centre backs out there. You know what I mean? Southampton and stuff like that. And Ndika, Skriniar, you know what I mean? PSG barely got him. That's the frustration you guys have, and they totally agree with you guys because your ambition is up there, and Spurs fans want to win. Like, getting the top 4 is not enough, and like you have to spend a lot of money eventually in this game because that's how it goes. And about the Danjuma thing, I think for me personally, he's a baller, man. Look, he's not in there to replace Son or anything like that, but he's there for the numbers and for you guys to potentially have a better season.
Listen, I agree. I'll come to someone else in a second, but as I've said all along, the narrative is from the people that absolutely hate Danjuma is that everyone that has said it's not a bad signing is praising it. I don't think anyone's praising it. I'm just saying we knew Brian Hill was going out on loan. I think everyone knew that. That opportunity came up. I can't see the issue. I mean, Elias, what do you make of that? Because it does seem to be the source of so much frustration that we've replaced Brian Hill with a better player that I can't work it out in my head why people are so annoyed.
I think you have a fair point there, but I think even the Brian Hill deal, if he was even going out, it's really, if let's just say that, we need to get Brian Hill out, it's not a priority. Even in that position, it's not a priority to replace as well. So the frustration is coming along the way of that. Why are we focusing on the Brian Hill deal if he's going out? Why can't we get another centre back out rather than getting Brian Hill out first and replace that centre back with a new player? Because
again, not mutually exclusive. Why are those two things linked? Brian Hill wants to go. That has nothing to do with centre backs. If Brian Hill comes to the club and says, "I want to go and play football," they're not going to go, "Well, no, we need to get a centre back. You can't go." There's no link. This is what fans do. We're linking two things that don't clash.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point, but the way fan base see that, they don't see the full picture. So I think the frustration is coming from that angle, I guess.
Yeah, listen, I'm just baffled. But look, let's talk centre backs, guys. Sorry, for me, I see it now. This is the third window in a row where we have not addressed centre backs. We bought Romero 4 windows ago, bought him in on loan, and have since made it permanent. And since
3 windows. It was the 2021 summer, so 3 windows from Arrow.
Summer, January.
Yep.
4.
Okay.
Right. It doesn't matter if it's 3 or 4. It should never even be 1. What's happening, guys? Why are the clubs so reluctant to buy centre halves? What on earth is going on? Because if we miss out on Champions League because we're playing Sanchez, we're playing Dyer, we're playing Davis, Longley, we've only got ourselves to blame, haven't we? We can't blame it on anyone else.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, like, the club has no strategy when it comes to transfers. It's so clear to see because we only start monitoring and watching these players when the window actually opens. It's like they don't sit down. Bearing in mind, we've had around 6 months since the summer, let's say, to January, yeah? Like 5-6 months. It's like, what did the club do in the 5 months prior to the window opening?
Right.
Do we just sit around and do
Nothing.
fuck all?
Well,
Because it's like, if you had any sort of planning, you'd go into that window with at least like 3 or 4 centre-half targets, if it's such an important position. Or this Poro deal wouldn't take 31 days because you already would have started talking to Sporting before. Like, there's just no strategy, and that's the problem. Like, it's not even the money is an issue, of course, because we always like 5-10 million short because Levy's got a massive ego. But I think the strategy is the biggest issue. There's no forward planning when it comes to windows in general. It just doesn't happen.
I mean, Martin, let me bring you. Haven't spoken for a bit. I mean, that is very true, isn't it? It does feel like a window closes, i.e., the window's going to close today, and you think to yourself, right, you've got between February the 1st and when does the summer window open? May the 31st or I don't know, June the 1st, whatever it is. You think to yourself, you've got 5 months in the background.
Yeah, 1st of June.
1st of June. So you've got 5 months to plan, look at your target, who's out of contract. We don't seem to ever do that, do we?
No. To be honest, I think the football inside of Tottenham Hotspur has just become a distraction for the owners now, really. I just think they want to set up their concerts, build their NFL team, and, you know, the football's just there. It's that expensive distraction getting in the way. I just wish they'd go. They need to go.
So we're saying that the actual football now has become a distraction for the actual football club, rather than the other way around.
It's a distraction for the scenic guys that are busy building their properties and, you know, want to build an NFL team and build this and build that and not on 2 million on a defender.
I mean,
I agree.
Sorry.
Go on, mate. Go on.
sorry. I mean, yeah, okay, you can say that, yes, they are doing that, but even then, I mean, is Tottenham Hotspur a small club that everybody does multitasking, or they are focusing on 2 different things? They don't even have different departments to focus on different things. One of the excuses that I don't like these days is that, oh, Paratici was having tough time. Okay, if Paratici is having a tough time, is our scouting department so small that we don't have anybody else like Paratici's assistant or somebody who can actually take over that role that Paratici play? Are we like such a small mentality club that we solely rely on Paratici? Paratici has been having this issue even before the World Cup. Why didn't we have a plan B there in case Paratici gets into trouble? Who would handle our transfer window? In any business, in any organization these days, when you do even smallest of things now, we used to have plan Bs, plan Cs even to a certain extent. Why didn't Enoch and Levy had that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a great point. I mean, Soren,
I'm not against the Danjuma signing at all. I think he's a decent player. I wouldn't beat him over the head with that transfer. My problem is, why are they filling that spot when we've got Kieran Dyer at back and Davinson Sanchez? You know our team can't multitask. It's going to only sign one player at a time, and it takes them 30 days to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Dalton Kalu left Man City to Bayern. It was 3 hours. We're interested, bid, done. 3 hours.
Yeah, well, I'm going to come on to that in a minute about, we're not a big club. I'm going to bring that up. Just before I do, and Soren, before I come to you, sorry, I've got to get through some super chats, otherwise it's really unfair. Phil P has said the only motive is Levy's a gooner, RIP to Spurs. Faz has said, what is wrong with loaning with option to buy? Nothing, but it would be nice to buy alongside the loaning. We're not a bank. We don't have to just loan all the time. Craig Benner, channel member, has just donated. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Phil P has said, how many birthdays has Levy ruined? Yeah, we'll ask Haz in a minute.
Mine.
Tim Rand said the club is just repeating what they said last summer. These owners cannot be trusted. Also, I don't believe for 1 second Levy saved the Poro deal. I completely agree. Craig Fenner comes back in. There's a lot of super chats and says maybe there's a quiet deal for Vrij.
I'm assuming DeVry. I'm assuming
The fridge.
the fridge.
And then
Fresh.
Adrian Chia has said, Levy fed us a drug of financial
I said
stability.
the Vrij. How do we pronounce it, man?
Hang on.
Allow me.
Levy fed us a drug of financial stability plus steady revenue equals best we can be is at European spot. That's an equation. Big part of fan base actually buy this and is addicted
But your fans
to it.
are also the problem for paying for the stuff, innit?
Yeah, of course, we're going to come on to that. But just before we do, Soren, I want to come to you because obviously you sit in the middle very clearly. You sit in the middle and you try to find the positives, which I think is great. But aren't we at the stage now, Soren, where I think so many fans can identify that, again, it's another shit window. Let's be fair. As much as we want to say it's not, I'm watching Bournemouth today go and sign two £25 million players. Bournemouth in a relegation fight, right? Southampton, £22 million striker on deadline day. Leicester have just signed 3 or 4 players in this window, and we've got 2 players on loan. We're about to announce record revenue, record profit for any football club in the world, and we are buying 2 players. We are buying 2 players on loan, Soren. Surely now you see this is a shit show.
Look, I mean, I can't sit here and say that things aren't right and things aren't going well. But what I'm going to say is, Eugene, I think you need to wake up and smell the roses. If you think we're actually linked to all those players rather than it just being media.
Oh, no. I'm just being sarcastic. Of course, I know. I know we're not linked to any of the players.
With your Levy out, that it doesn't matter what we do, it's going to be their fault. I mean, has brought out a great term last night and about a flip-flop. And that's last summer, you were saying we signed everybody early and we didn't sign anybody at the end. Now you're saying we've signed everybody late and nobody at the beginning. Nobody can win in this situation. The club hasn't done a good window. I'm not going to argue with that. Again. But again, the only thing I'm going to try and bring out as a positive, and I know I'm running out of excuses, don't worry, is we don't know what Conte has asked for. He's
hang on.
Number
sorry.
one. No, hang on.
So, sorry. Sorry, I'll come back to you. Sorry. I mean,
what did I say?
Tony, I mean, Jesus, dude, give me a break. There's over 350 people in here. There's a million chats. I don't know if anybody who's never looked has people who YouTube know. When you have a StreamYard account and all the comments are coming down the side, it is impossible to read out them all, bring them all up. There are loads. And you use that to have a bitch at me about me bitching about the club. Dude, you can cancel your subscription. Like, I don't know. What do you want from me? What is it that you want? Jesus, just unsubscribe. I'll give you your money back if you want to be a bitch about it. Jesus Christ. Sorry, Soren. Yeah. As you were. Sorry. I've got no time for people belittling me like that. I won't take it anymore from any YouTubers.
Man, big up Sava, man. Keep landing the minerals, bro.
I'm not having it. I'm having it. I'm going on the rampage now. I will not be spoken to how I've been lately on YouTube chats. I will not be talked to badly by people in the comments. Soren, as you were.
Yeah, I mean, we had this all last summer saying, we needed to get a centre-back, and I know we did, and we still haven't, and I can't defend that. We also said, why aren't we getting a right-back? That's the most important thing, that right-sided of defence. Why aren't we getting it? Why aren't we getting it? Yeah, it's taken 31 days, no excuse. But we've got that, which was Conte's number 1 target. He's got that. Now, it's all right saying, well, why didn't we go and get another one if we were... The fact is, we've got him, so we didn't need to go and get another one. If we'd have gone and got somebody else instead, everybody in the world would have been turning around saying, oh, you didn't get Conte's number 1 target. So, again, we can't win.
Well, what right back have we got?
Emerson.
Well, yeah, what right wing back has they got?
We've just got Poro, what do you mean?
We're borrowing him.
Yeah, but Soren
but we've bought him with the obligation to buy in the summer.
With an option, not an obligation.
But Soren, can't we sign more than
one
player at once?
It is an obligation.
It's an obligation.
And what Soren's saying, by the way, that obligation this loan was nothing to do with Tottenham, from what I've read. It was like it's to do with sporting to push
My
their
problem with
finances
buying
into the
players
next
when you're
year.
a Spurs fan is I don't trust Daniel Levy to actually finish off buying them at all. I'm not happy with
If
the
it's an
business.
obligation, it is written in the contract that it's being paid for. By the way,
I'm
just
sure he could
put
find a way out
context.
of it, couldn't he?
Hmm?
It's Levy. I'm sure he could find a way out of it, surely.
No, contractually you can't. I'm just to paint the picture to keep it balanced and understanding. That's all.
I mean,
But guys, I mean, the thing for me isn't Soren. This is the thing. I think this is why people are getting frustrated. Is yeah, we said we wanted a right wing back, but are we going to buy every player we need one window at a time, one player at a time? Because this is this is what we're seeing. We saw last window of all 7 signings, Perisic is the only one that plays week in, week out. And arguably, I know people might disagree, he's gone. He looks every bit of his age, right? Right? That was our one of the 7 signing, right? Yeah. The window before, okay, on the last day of the window, Kulusevski and Bentancur, you could say we got lucky, we did well, whatever. The window before that, only Romero starts from that window. This window, only Poro's going to start. So by that, it means in 5.5 years and in 11 windows' time, we will have an 11.
Yeah.
Well,
you won't even have 11 after 5 as well, because they're gonna be players who are actually gonna run out as well. Definitely.
I was being facetious, but yes, of course. This is my point. My point is this: in this window, we are Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. We are one of the richest football clubs in world football. Right? I'm sitting there and I'm watching Nottingham Forest buy player after player after player. Now, yes, it's all context, but at least their owner is showing ambition. Yeah, our owner's sitting there again this window going, let's do the bare minimum.
To stay up, though.
And fans buy it. Fans buy it up. They lap it up. It's I don't know how many more windows we have to have like this, guys.
Do you mind if I make a couple more points and then I'll head back on stream? We're not a big club. We're never going to be a big club under this ownership and with the fan base we got, because it's too small mindset. People that are happy to accept this crap are just not good for the club. Sorry, it's a fact. So we're never going to be a big club under this. I've been listening to them for 22 years and I don't believe a word they say. Don't think I ever will believe a word they say. They just need to go. They need to get out. Conte can go. Throw a grenade under the club and reset. I prefer that to this crap, honestly.
And how long are you going to give the new owners before you start moaning about them?
I'm not going to moan about anything.
Well, you've just said you've been Levy out for 22 years, which is the length of time they've owned the club. So you must have already made your mind up right at the beginning that you wanted them out.
Yeah, because they straight away said they're not interested in football. They said it was financial right from the start.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. Most people that own a football club are not in it just to give all the money away.
We're being outspent by Nottingham Forest, Everton, Leeds. We're the 9th richest club in the world, which, by the way, is rubbish because we're actually richer than that.
I think this is where the problem lies, right, guys? This is
absolute horse crap.
This is where the problem lies, isn't it, guys? Is that I get it, right? And Perchi, we had this conversation this morning.
Yeah.
Like, look, what Chelsea are doing, people can hate it, love it, but at the end of the day, they've got an ambitious owner that is buying talent that is all under the age of 24, right? Which means for the next 5 years, they're going to have such a strong squad, which means he's buying now and you won't have to keep doing this every single window after. I'm not saying we do that. We're Tottenham. We're not going to do that. But what I am saying is how on earth in the summer we're outspent by West Ham.
Isn't it true that
we've been outspent by nearly every club in the Premier League?
Isn't it true that Bowley's already put more of his own money into Chelsea already than what's his face, Joel, whatever he's called, as in 22 years?
Yeah. I hear that, but my point is this: is I get it that some people have more finances and they want to put their own money in, but how, guys? How are we at the stage where Nottingham Forest are making 3 signings today? 3 signings that upgrade their team. Felipe, John Joe Shelvey, and someone else that escapes me. Having bought 15-odd players in the summer. Bournemouth's new owners have gone in there straight away. They're bringing in centre-backs, centre-mid, strikers. and Daniel Levy's bringing in a lone right wing back and a lone forward who's going to sit on the bench. How many windows do we have to put up with this, Soren? How many?
No, I agree with you. What I will say is, though, let's just throw a little curveball in there. We've been in 6 finals in the last 10 years, is it? If we'd have won those 6 finals, would you all still be sat here saying Levy out?
Yeah, but if the coconuts and all
But
that,
our score is not
I
even
know
good enough
it's
to
a
win
bit, but
finals.
the point is we were good enough to get to 6 finals, which everybody keeps going on about. We need to win a trophy to be successful. Well, we could have won 6 trophies.
We did have the quality.
But that's an assumption. We haven't won 6
Come on
trophies.
now.
It's an
I
assumption.
know we haven't. I know we haven't. But
Sorry.
what I'm saying is, it could have been so much
Pathetic for
different
me.
had
No,
we.
if we have won all the 6 finals, I wouldn't be Levy out.
can't
Seriously.
So
But
there
But
was
Eugene,
good
we didn't
enough-
have the players.
But
on
one
the
at a
time,
time,
guys,
so-
please,
Exactly.
Guys,
Let me give you a perfect
guys.
analogy, Soren.
Please, one at a time. I mean,
We
let me,
can't make
Pyrex.
that
Let me come to you, Pyrex.
We didn't win 6
Hang on,
trophies.
right. Hang on, Pyrex. Let me come to you. I
Come
mean,
on.
look,
It's a
Soren-
hypothetical.
hang on, Soren is right in a way, because let's be fair, if we're sitting here now with 3 or 4 trophies in the last two decades, you're going, yeah. So I get that, but the problem is we haven't, and we move forward, but we're not moving forward, are we? It's the same thing year in, year out.
Every time we get to a final, we've got a habit of sacking a manager. Next time we get to a final, the next
Exactly.
manager
I
will
can
be.
hear you, man. And as well, Soren, like, yes, it's hypothetical as well, bro.
I'll just make up scenarios.
I just want to make a point.
Martin, you've got to let
But
people.
come on now. Let me give you.
Go on, Pyrex.
Let me give you another. If my mom had both showed me my dad, she doesn't. So that doesn't change anything, man. Come on.
No, but the argument is, it wasn't a what if, but what I wanted to get out of that was exactly what Eugene said. Had we won those 6, he wouldn't be Levy out. Levy gave us the opportunity, if you want to look at it that way, to get to 6 finals, which the players themselves bottled on the day. Now,
I want to speak about this.
Sorry,
I want to say something about this.
okay. I was just going to say. I just got a quick one.
Yeah.
There isn't a hyperbole here, actually, that you could argue that actually Pochettino overachieved with the players that he had and actually created. So I do get your point. You are right in actually what you say. Like, there'll be a lot of difference in there. But I think the problem what we have is, and actually, do you know why the situation we're in at the moment is we've got the wrong manager. We've had the wrong managers with the wrong owners. And I think it actually hasn't worked. Like, and this is where me and Safa have had this conversation before about Conte doesn't work with these owners. These owners will not improve us going forward because they don't actually look at they don't even care about winning. So the sense is we're in that point where actually winning the FA Cup is irrelevant to the club. Qualifying for Champions League football is actually what is the pinnacle of the football club because that's where the revenue is driven. And unfortunately, we're now in that bubble where what we do is we will try and we're building a squad on a budget to get to 4th place, to get all the money from it, and then it's just recycle and repeat. And unfortunately, we're in this horrible cycle as a football club where, and unfortunately, fans have now bought into it. I'm not saying you personally, but I mean, I know fans have bought into it that finishing in the Champions League is some sort of achievement now. It's not. It's 3rd loser.
I totally agree with everything you said there. That
But
the
it's
direction
kind of
the
one,
club,
bro.
Sorry. The direction of the club has always been to get top 4. That's everybody says we've got no direction. Well, we have get top 4. That's the direction of the club. I'm not saying that it's good enough. I'm not saying it's good enough. But what I'm saying is that that's what they want every year. Now, as fans, we all want more. There isn't a single fan that would say, I don't want a trophy. I don't want it. I mean, the argument last year was, we can come 8th and win a trophy. Stop that. Come 4th and win a trophy if we're going to do that. But, to just say that we haven't had anything to put it in place to be able to win a trophy is bullshit because we have. Now, we might have overachieved under Poch, and I fully agree that we probably did. And, there was points there where we should have gone on and strengthened. We didn't. But is that all Levy's fault or is that Poch's fault for being a yes man and not demanding those players?
I mean, we're shifting the debate massively here.
I know, sorry, I apologise.
No, it's fine. I agree with you to an extent. I've said this before. For the people that love Poch, and Poch was this genius, he did mess up every massive game we ever had in a final or semi. He did. That's fair to say. But this was years ago. We're now, I mean, how many years ago did Poch leave? 4 or 5? And the team has gone like that since.
How do we know Poch didn't demand
what?
How do we know Poch didn't demand the players? Nobody was in
that. We're in a transfer window right now, like we were in the summer, where you can say, right, Spurs play wing backs. The fundamentals of wing backs is wing backs and centre backs. And again, the thing that is being ignored by the club for the 3rd window in a row, centre backs. Centre backs. And yet what we hear from Ali Gold this morning, and not his fault, I'm just saying he's just reporting it, is the club's aim in the summer is centre backs. Why? What other Premier League club does this? What other Premier League club goes, you know what? We don't score goals. I'll tell you what we'll do this window. We'll buy some defenders in. Next window, we'll go for strikers. It makes no sense.
I'll show you the difference between what a big club and a small club do. This is how Spurs are a small club. Manchester United this morning got the news that Christian Eriksen is out for 3 months. What did they do? The first thing they did is go on the phone to Bayern Munich and said, is Sabitzer available? Yes, he is. Right. Get him on the plane. That's what big clubs do. They've got an injury for one of their key players who's out for the majority of the season now. They get on the phone and they get a player coming on the plane today. That's what big clubs do. Within hours.
Yeah. Within hours.
Amen.
The thing is, ours isn't even an injury, Perchie.
Exactly.
Ours is a 3 or 4 year outstanding issue. This is like me needing this is like my left tyre, my back left tyre has been wearing thin for years. I've not changed it, but during that time, I've got a new steering wheel, I've got new brakes, I've given it a paint job, but I still haven't got the left tyre fixed. It makes no sense.
What just keep doing? They keep putting a bloody plaster over a bullet wound.
No, they do indeed. They do indeed. Just quickly, a couple of super chats, some more. Thank you very much, everyone. Please smash the like button as well. There are 384 of you in here, only 89 likes. Please smash the like button. Craig Fenner has said the only reason Royal stays is he sort of defends. Sort of being the main words. Wayne Holland, big up to yourself. Always one of my favourites in the chat. And Phil, I will put the link in. I can't have too many more people. So when people leave, I'll put it back out there. Look, guys, Enzo Fernandez is having a medical in Portugal at the moment to join Chelsea. Chelsea are prepared to go.
Is the deal agreed?
It's 105 million, isn't it? I think.
Okay, guys. I go on question now, right? Yeah, can I go on question? Has Poro actually held up the shirt yet? Have they done that video?
No. He's medical.
What if he fails the medical?
No, it has. The medical's been completed. Paul O'Keefe has confirmed that it's basically going to announce shortly.
I just want to make a couple points about top 4 and the finals because I do think they're kind of intertwined. So number 1, obviously, we all know the club's aim is top 4, right? But that's because we were all sold that lie for about 10 years till we made a top 4 under these ownership, right? And it was first time was Harry Redknapp. But that's because they told us when we make top 4, we'll buy better players and become a better club. Obviously, that's a lie, yeah? So that's why there's some people who are still brainwashed because it took me 10 years to get out of the brainwashing because we used to be Levy in for a period, right? And then on the finals, right, if you look at, for example, the semi-final against Chelsea a number of times, I think under Redknapp, Pochettino, and you look at the benches and look at the quality of the benches in the 2 semi-finals, for example, Chelsea brought on Hazard and Batshuayi, correct me if I'm wrong, in the Pochettino game. And then in the Redknapp game, I mean, Chelsea had all sorts of players on the bench against us, with Redknapp. So you can look at the quality of the squads as well. You can't just say, oh, if we'd won those 6 finals, because if you look at it on paper, we wouldn't have won those 6 finals if you look at the different squads. Let's be honest, yeah.
This comment, Perchie, to your comment, differences there. Man United are a football club that want to win football. Spurs are more worried about absolutely everything else other than what happens on the pitch.
Sava, I've got something you'll like this one. Just to go on to your centre back and thing. The date is the 6th of September 2021. Ali Gold tweets, the priority after Romero is another centre-back and a right-back before looking further up the pitch. The date is now the 31st of January 2023. So a year and a half ago, we were still after a centre-half. Says it all, doesn't it?
Oh
And
my
we've
days.
now signed the right wing-back.
Oh my days.
Exactly. It's 2 steps forward and 1 steps back, isn't it, Perchi? And you guys were meant to
I
get
don't even think
Bastoni
it's
as
2
well.
steps forward. I don't even think it's 2 steps forward. At the moment, I think it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I think there's, we need a goalkeeper. We need 2 centre halves. We need a playmaker. Kane might be leaving. We might need another centre forward. I think there's big issues at this football club. Huge issues.
But the biggest issue we have at the football club is we've got a collection of dross now at the football club that we can't get rid of. We've got, as we said, we've got 11 players on loan. You could maybe take a Doji out of that. He was bought to come in for next season. And there's a lot on that we need to get rid of. Plus the ones that have to play at the moment that aren't good enough at the club at the moment. We don't get rid of players, which is equally part of the problem. We can't get rid of them. We're sending them out on loan, which is great short term. But long-term problems is they're all coming back in July, in January, in June. We need to do something with these players.
So that's where I think the biggest failing of the club is that, especially over the last few years, that, when Poch came in, he got rid of, was it 11 or 17 players instantly? Whereas we just haven't done that this time, That's the thing that's holding back, I think, at the moment, whether, call me all the names you want to do. But if we can't get those players out, we can't keep buying players in and having more players to ship out. We've got to get rid of those players.
Well,
And that's got to be a priority.
But our owners won't take the hit. That's the problem, right?
Well, they have
What are
to,
you
though,
gonna do?
haven't they? Nobody wants to bloody buy them. You can't take a hit if nobody's there to buy them.
You could rip up their contracts if you wanted to.
Yeah, and then look at what we were saying last year about Ndombele, about just letting him go, and everyone's like, no, we've got to get some money for him.
But the way
We'll be getting some money for Ndombele because he's going to win the Serie A with Napoli. So that's an obligation to buy there for Napoli. So
no,
there isn't. But my point being, there is. But my point being is what? No, there's not.
There isn't?
There's not. There's an option to buy. To buy, but there's no obligation.
Back to us.
There's an option from Dubai for a club in the region of around 20 to 30 million in that bracket.
Yeah.
But what I've said is I've actually said we need to look down the road actually, and we kind of need to have a Cole what Arsenal did. We need to just take the breath and go, do you know what? We're going to rip up 4 or 5 contracts over a year's period and go, do you know what? Let's move forward and go, do you know what? We'll take the punch on this. And then we're going to go and buy 3 big players to fill those ones we've ripped up and start culling these players out of the club. Because it's the only way you're going to do it at a quick rate. Because what we do is when we look at players like an Eric Dyer, we use him as an example. We all probably collectively agree probably he's one of the men that needs to leave the club. We won't let him go for 10 million quid. We may not even let him go for 15 million quid. We'll probably be looking for 20 million quid for him. There's not many teams that would go, do you know what? We're going to spend 20 million quid on an Eric Dyer. And he's just an example. But that's the problem. Is we want a lot of money for a lot of players that aren't good enough at our club, and we can't get rid of them. That's why I said we have to have a Cole at this moment, and it's the only way we're going to get to a stage where we can start bringing in players into these windows. But we're not going to. That's the issue.
Yeah.
What's your name, mate? What's the name of the person that just said that?
Me?
Yeah, what's your name?
Perchi.
You're a legend, mate. You know what's up.
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
He's got a YouTube channel.
Sorry, Savage.
He hasn't as of yet. No, he hasn't at the moment. Elias, you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say on that part, on that point, actually, why haven't we cleared out all the players that we have and all these loans piling up and all that? Actually, that's another problem that I have now with the fan base, that Don Partici stand, that okay, Partici is the Don of the deals and he knows how to strike those good deals. Actually, how the good deals are done. When Chelsea sell Eden Hazard, they had a clause that yes, if that guy goes on to win the Champions League, when he was utterly shit, even that player, they would actually get like 20 million, or I think 30 million, something like that. They had a clause inside that by Marina, that lady who used to help Abramovich. Those are the kind of deals that if somebody strike, that yes, you can say that yes, that person knows how to do business. They don't not only buy the players, when they sell the players, they know how to strike the good deals. What kind of deal Paratici has strike that actually we can call him Don Paratici yet? Other than the loans, I don't think he has done anything of that sort of special that he actually even deserved that title, the Don Paratici. I have a problem with that particular statement. And I think that's the problem with our fan base as well, that sometimes we overhype these people to make them look like, oh, they are legends. He is no legend, actually. He has done nothing to actually deserve that even. And sorry, by the way, there was another comment by somebody just now. You said that send these players to Ukraine. I think let's not make fun of it. It's a real situation. It's a bit sensitive. Let's not
Was
use
it
that.
Ukraine or UA? I think somebody meant UA, didn't they? United Emirates.
Listen,
It's Ukrainian flag.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that one. Yeah.
Either way, I'm seeing comments. Just quickly, I'm seeing comments. Lots of people having a go at each other for opinions. Can we just, please? You can tell someone you disagree with them without being rude to them. Please, let's just keep it civil. Yeah. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Let's move on to the obvious conversation. I keep hearing that patience is needed. Yeah, Conte's the winner. Conte will need 3 or 4 windows. In what reality does Antonio Conte look at yet another window like this and say, you know what, I will sign in the summer? Can anyone see it in any way, shape, or form?
Conte's going tomorrow, I swear. Unless he's desperate for that money, Conte's walking out tomorrow.
I would love him to.
I think he's gone in the summer. But
yeah, he's not walking out tomorrow.
Well, why wouldn't he? Why would he look at that shit?
Why would he? £6 million till June. I would he won't walk out no matter what Levy was doing to me. He could take me up the arse and I'd still stay for £6 million.
I think he's already loaded though, isn't he? I'll tell you one thing, Conte looked 10 years older now than he did the day he took over.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but you can't just blame that on the club. He's just lost 3 of his most best
friends into it.
His wife and family are still in Italy. He's just
lost. What does that tell you?
His personal life has been devastated, and you think it's all to do with Levy?
Oh yeah, of course it is. God,
hang on. We're talking about
what were you smoking?
Hang on, we're talking different subjects.
I just said you can have different opinions without being rude.
No, but you cannot blame it all on Levy. We know that his personal life has been devastated over the last few months.
I would absolutely adore some of whatever you're on that makes you think that everything's okay.
What happened to him then?
I'm not saying everything's okay.
Look at Jose. He'd aged like 10 years being a Spurs manager for like 6 months.
Yeah, he did actually, didn't he?
Yeah, man, he was
so it's just another
Levy, mate. And didn't he sack Martignol in the dugout or something like that?
Yeah, before the game. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you all think I'm totally.
Perchie, I'm leaving you in charge.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, let's take it over, Perchie.
One at a time.
Let's not understand what we're all saying.
Yeah, so I think
we're playing.
We play dross football.
The football's unbearable to watch.
But that's not Levy's fault. That's Conte's fault.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
Look at the players he has to work with. Sorry.
No,
But what I'm saying is that's the system.
Okay, one second. For one moment, hold on. 1 moment. I will back what Soren's saying here. We can blaming the way that we play on the football we play and the way the manager is aren't the same thing. By the way, I'm as Edic out and Levy out as possible, but you can't put both in the same. You have to use context and stuff. Because some of these players play good football. The way that we set up to try and defend with players that can't defend. So you have to balance it here. Like, if we're going to have a debate and properly.
He has won him trophies, mate.
He's won trophies. Conte has won trophies with elite football clubs. He's not won trophies at Tottenham. There's a massive difference. Jose Mourinho won trophies at big football clubs, not Tottenham. This is why I say from the beginning, and this is where the debate always seems to go, because I feel like at the moment, this football club and this fan base has been so fractured that you have to if you can't back Antonio Conte, you support these owners. No. Hang on. Both things can be different in the same thing. I don't like the owners, but I also think the football that we play under Antonio Conte is terrible. So let's just to sort of put a bit of balance in there. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
But who
that's
brought
fair
in Conte?
I mean, the thing is,
That's
what happens
terrible
when we go
football.
1 or 2-0 down and we come out in the second half and all of a sudden the shackles are off and we play nice football? Well, you can't blame that on Levy. That's got to be Conte.
The one thing I would come back to that other guy that was just talking and said about how the football
Yeah, you
we're
can blame
playing.
that on Conte. He sets up the team.
We played better
Levy
football
don't pick, sorry.
under Mourinho with a much worse team. He didn't have Bentancur, he didn't have Kulu, he didn't have Romero.
Who?
Jose.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Jose.
For me, with a much worse
Maureen,
team.
man.
We had
for
Rodon.
me, I think when we get into the Mourinho Conte debate, I think it just takes away from what is actually happening. I think, look, I've got my own opinions on both Mourinho and Conte. I think neither of them are right for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I see people say to me till they're blue in the face, back Conte, back Conte. First of all, it's not for me as a fan to back the manager. It's down to the owners, right? It's not down to me. Don't matter who I back. Doesn't matter if I love him, hate him, love his football, hate his football. Doesn't matter. Same for any of you lot. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Conte and Jose are winners. They are winners at big clubs. Yeah, you might say, okay, well, Jose is probably the exception to the rule in terms of what he did at Porto when he went there. But let's be fair, since then, Man United, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Inter Milan, Roma, big football clubs. Problem is, those clubs he's been to, the same with Conte, Juventus, Chelsea, Inter Milan. These are clubs that, and this is what leads me on to, this is going to be my segue into my next piece.
Exactly.
They don't just talk about being a
Same
big
with
club.
John, but he reached a semi. That's different. It's only Jose.
Hang on. They don't just talk about being a big club like we talk. Spurs fans go, we're a big club. Nothing about the club acts like a big club. And I think Percy's point earlier summed it up.
You are, man.
Massive injury.
You're bigger than Everton and those guys. Come on.
Yeah. Hang on. Pyrex, Everton's got nothing to do with this conversation. Everton, I don't know where that's come from. Everton have got nothing to do with it.
You said about being a big club. You said about being a big club, innit?
Yeah.
You're in it, so it's subjective whether you act like it or not.
Yeah,
you know
but Everton have got nothing to do. I'm talking about being a big club, right? I'm talking about acting like a big club. Everton on paper, massive club, don't act like it. Spurs on paper, history, big club, big stadium, this manager, don't act like it. Yeah, Man United. Look again today. Eriksen injured. Yeah. Now whether they get Sabitzer or not, they've gone out there to try and make it happen.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about, right? So when you now look at how we act in a transfer market with 2 loans, yeah, one of them is going to become permanent. You have to look and go, what part of what we're doing screams ambition? What part of it screams big club? What part of it screams backing your manager?
No whatsoever. You need centre backs more.
Even then, it's sorry. Go on,
I got to make a move very soon, but let me say this in a very special context, right? We're a big club in the financial size, but we're a very small club in the trophy cabinet sense, all right? The only thing that we have in our trophy cabinets at the moment now, right, are all the financial reports that shows all the record profits that we make, right? And all the land title deals that all put up in their frames and all that to say that what a good property developer we are. So I guess that's why we are a big club in that sense. But the sad part is that the fan base are willing to accept the financial part, to accept that we're a big club. And there's a part of the fan base who wants the trophies, who wants the glories, to accept that that is the standard to be a big club. So in that days, our fan base is torn again. So what can I say? But guys, thanks for having me on. I need to get some sleep because I'm doing an 11-day work shift, 11-day work week. All right, so no rest. So,
work shift.
yeah,
Listen,
guys,
Thanks for coming on, dude. We'll see you soon.
Yeah,
Take care,
all
man.
right.
Thank
Okay.
you, Gene.
And any of you guys can give me a like or a subscribe on Spursvision TV on YouTube, guys.
What's
It'll be
that?
much appreciated,
What-
right?
what's
Take
the
care. All right. Spursvision TV on YouTube. Yeah.
Cool.
Nah,
All right,
man,
take
big
care,
up
guys.
Eugene,
Right.
man.
Take care.
Have a good show, right? And
It's
don't
landing
get
the
too nasty
middles,
with each other, right? We all love each other. We all Spurs fans. We all want the best for our club, right?
Find a way to stop the
All right.
fan base
Right.
so
Take care. All right, Elias, I'll catch up with you later, right, bro?
Take care.
All right, take care. Thanks, Noah. Bye-bye. Has
Bye-bye.
happy
See you,
birthday.
man.
Take care, mate.
Big up.
All right.
Right.
I mean, Haz,
Okay.
let me come to you, Haz. From a big club standpoint, and we talk like a big club. You know, we charge like a big club, right? Our fans spend as though we're a big club. They advertise, the PR, everything about it screams massive club. But this is still the one area where we neglect, isn't it? Is that little bit of grass where those men run around. That seems to be the last. It should be the first piece of the jigsaw. It's our last piece that we still never addressed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because they don't care enough. I kind of agree with, I don't know who was saying on the panel earlier, but it's almost like the football's like a hindrance to the owners in the sense that it's like bottom of the list sort of thing. They don't really care that much. I think they built this new stadium for the NFL, the Lady Gagas, and all the other stuff. I don't think they had any intention to use that money that Levy prophesized and said all the money goes back into the team. I think it's a lot of rubbish. And they just built it just to make more money for themselves. This whole big club thing is like a smokescreen because we're not actually a big club when it comes to
I
football.
think you make it.
We might be off the
spend it on
pitch, but
the revenues, though.
yeah.
Nah.
Sorry?
You guys rely on revenue, though. You get your fans fund the players like because every time Spurs fans go to the games, do they?
Yeah.
Know I mean, they will still.
But I'm saying the
the player-
additional stuff is also an issue because Levy claimed famously in a video on Spurs Twitter, I can't remember what the date was, that all the money goes back into the football or whatever. And it's
No. He said all the money goes back into the club, which again is not a lie, but it doesn't feel
Just to
fall
an
onto
extent, the revenue goes into
So
the
the
football.
money, no. The money goes back into the club, yes, but the money doesn't get spent on the players and improving the footballing squad. What it does is it's about regeneration of the actual industry that we are now. We're not just a football club anymore, and this is the part that people need to. Someone's there, development company. We're about developing everything now.
Exactly.
And this is the part where I knew
Tottenham are
that
like a leisure center. Facts per
It's
check.
about-
That's a good point actually.
It's just
Exactly,
it's about
Spurs are winging
making
it,
as
man.
much money as possible. Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I will say is, like Haz has just said, that the club have always come out and said, you know, that the revenue from the stadium will go back into the team and the club, whichever way you want to look at it. The downside to that is we built the stadium. Is it 3 seasons now? 2 seasons there was no fans in it. So
was it 1 season?
Not blame Coach.
Season and a
season
half.
and
No,
a
it's a
half,
season,
at least.
season
Yeah.
and a half. It was, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's a season and a half with no fans in it. So, I mean,
But Soren, how about all the concerts? All these
Oh
wizards,
yeah.
all this
But
crap
the
like
thing
this.
the thing is with the concerts, and I mean, you had this discussion last night that's kind of ENIC rather than Tottenham Hotspur, isn't it? It's not. Tottenham Hotspur shouldn't necessarily get the rights to whatever money comes in from a concert. You know, we're all quite delusional about that, saying that, oh, well, we've got a concert. It doesn't mean to say the team are going to get that money back. Now, I think we should, because it's our stadium and blah, blah, blah.
Then we shouldn't have moved out of White Hart Lane.
No.
Agreed.
Yeah.
There's no point. There's no point in.
But the point is we have, and the thing is, who actually owns the stadium? Is it ENIC or is it Tottenham Hotspur?
I think it's ENIC.
I actually do know the answer to this. It's owned by the football club, but it's a private. It's actually I've checked actually a lot about this. It's privately owned within the football club, so it's a different subsidiary of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, in that sense, then the argument is: do Tottenham Hotspur get the money from that, or does the subsidiary get the money from? You know, I mean, this is It's easy. I mean, it's a bit like last summer when everybody was going on about this 150 million war chest that never actually existed, but fans just heard a little thing about 100 million and got all excited about it.
But so with that money, I was one of those that I read into it, and actually, what people did is they read the headline instead of actually reading the actual thing, and actually, it was nothing to do with the money. Was just allowing all it was actually to allow the ENIC themselves and the shareholdings to just buy more stocks. Yeah. That's all it was. It was, and this is the problem. Unfortunately, it was great PR for the club. I tell you what, honestly, it was magical PR because everyone went, "We're going to go out and spend money." No, we're not. Use your common sense. We don't spend money like that.
I heard people rating that window like an 8.
But you see, going on to what Sue's just said, we were never sold a dream. If you actually read it and understood it properly, we were never told that money was coming to the team. We just assumed it would.
From the moment they were interested in football, they said it was always a business.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing. To be a football team again.
Guys, I'm going to go for, just so you know, I'm going to go for 10 more minutes and then I am going to stop. But listen, I'm going to bring Phil in as well. I mean, a big up to
Saba, I think I need to leave. Yeah, it's quite late in here as well. Yeah. Thanks for having me today, guys. Yeah.
Thank you. Your points. Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
We're now a business.
Thank you, mate. Please, everybody, please give a like if you can. We've got 312 people in, only 104 likes. And if you haven't subscribed, please help me get to 3,500 as quickly as possible. We're flying towards that number. Phil, this is an interesting one, right? That we talk a lot about ENIC, we talk about Levy, we talk about who owns the stadium, we talk about what money should be pumped in. But my answer to all of this is, we all use these excuses as, oh, well, COVID happened and we haven't had this revenue. Bournemouth have just whacked down about £80 million this window. Nottingham Forest are whacking down money. Villa
and 50 as well on those two players.
Hang on, you've got to let me finish my point. You've got to let me finish my point, right? This is my thing, Phil, right? Surely all of these clubs spending this money completely shows that all these excuses we give our board are just irrelevant because they've all got small stadiums, hardly. I'm guessing their revenue is going to be like a tenth of what our revenue is on a match day, if that. How are they doing it? We can't.
There's over 5,000 teams in the country that went through COVID. It wasn't just Spurs. What an absolute horse crap excuse that is.
Hang on, but go on, Phil.
No.
Yeah. We don't know, do we? In all honesty, we don't know. But in regards to the centre back issue, I'm beginning to think now that Conte doesn't want these centre backs in as yet, because he feels that he's got enough in the centre back position to get us into that top 4, which is our expected position from the start of the season, along with maybe a trophy on the side. So I think I feel he's got enough in that centre back line to get the job done this season, and then in the summer take us to that next level if he is still here. So that's what I feel the situation is at the minute. But in regards to like
based on what, Phil, I just want to ask based on what, because I keep hearing comments like this, but from what he's seen in the transfers he's had in since he's been the manager here, what one transfer out of the 11 or 12 that he's had now has screamed that we will go to that next level and get that centre back that he needs that's of top quality, or that centre mid or the playmaker. Why?
It takes time. It takes time, Savit. I mean, he's had 2 windows, one proper summer window. So he needs a bit more time. That's if he is still here, to get these players over the line. In regards to like the Bournemouth signing, the centre backs, I think Dave put it in the chat, or Shotspur, he said about Zabiani. He's a quality centre back for 24 million, which we should be going for, really.
But Phil, sorry, I'm gonna challenge you on this. this whole, he said he needs time. Great. He said he needs time. But again, I'm going to ask you this. From the windows that he's had,
Yeah.
if every window is going to be like the windows we're having so far under him, I'm not blaming him for this. What is going to change? Why? I keep hearing last summer it was, this is a massive window. Then it's wait till we get to January. Now it's the summer's going to be when we. How long do we keep playing this game before we go? The owners are shit and they don't care.
I'm just going off what Conte said in press conferences. You know, he said that he doesn't need a centre back. So that to me says that he doesn't need one. So it's very simple. But you know, obviously we all know that there's a problem in that position. We all know that, and I think he does deep down. But it's getting the right centre back in at the right time, and I think he does believe that he's got enough in the squad now that with the players that he's got, Poro and Danjuma, that I feel that he's got enough to get into top four, which is our expectation at the start of the season. So that's what Levy wants as well.
If he doesn't,
you know, yeah, go on.
If he doesn't get top four, so we're saying
it's a failure.
If he doesn't get top four, he has failed. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though, right? So, Soren, you're saying that as well. Top four or it's failure.
I disagree.
I mean, to sort of go on what Phil was just saying there. I mean, I kind of agree with him, and I kind of don't. Conte has come out and said he's happy with our centre backs. He has come and he said it on more than one occasion. Now, that doesn't mean to say that we don't need them. We all know we do need them. But if he is coming out and saying it's not a priority yet, and last year, and I remember coming on your show, Sava, and saying a sentence, and you were like, oh, I'm fed up of hearing that sentence about rebuilding. You know, we're in a rebuild now and we need to rebuild. And, you know, you hate, I'm pretty sure you said you hate that sort of thing because you're fed up of hearing it because we keep saying it. We keep saying
I hate one word of it. I hate the word rebuild. We're not rebuilding from anything.
But all of a sudden, on several other YouTube channels and yours and everybody's coming on and saying, oh, we need to rebuild. Well, this is what we were saying last summer. And people were saying, no, we keep rebuilding, and we're going to do it, and that's the problem. We are rebuilding,
but we're not.
We've been trying to do that since Poch got us to the Champions League final.
Yeah, I disagree with that, and I don't think anybody would disagree with that. We haven't done it properly. You know, we haven't had enough ambition. That word ambition we haven't had. But the problem is, you know, we're saying now, oh, let's get rid of Conte. If he goes in the summer, let's get Poch in and do that rebuild. Well, that's another time we're going to start rebuilding. And this is backing you up what you were saying, Sav, about that word rebuild, that we've got to finally say, if Conte is not going to stay, get rid of him now and get somebody in and let's carry on. But if Conte is going to stay, we need to do that rebuild. And Conte has come out and said, we need to do a rebuild.
Yeah, but Conte may not be here at the end of the season.
I know, and I agree with that part. Yeah, but
we got to go off that he is low at the moment.
Then you're all saying back him, but we're all asking to back him in this transfer window, and then saying he's not going to be here in 6 months. So what do we do? Do we back him or not?
But Soren, you're narrowing it down to this transfer window. I'm talking about all the transfer windows.
Yeah, I know,
right?
I know. Yeah,
this. First of all, I don't even think build or rebuild is the right word because I don't think we've ever built, unbuilt, rebuilt, whatever you want to say, right? But how can we say a window where we've strengthened one of our first 11, right? How can we say that we are building? That is crap.
No, I mean, I do agree with you on that one, Sav. It is crap, but I will also say that, you know, if Conte is coming out and saying, I'm happy with what I've got, this is the position that I want doing. And
you believe that?
I don't know, to be honest. I honestly don't know. I mean, if you listen to him last year and during the first part of this season, he came out on 2 or 3 occasions and said, I am happy with my defence. Well, if he's happy with his defence, and we know Conte will come out and do all his little innuendos and to have a go at the board and to ask for backing. Well, if he's coming out and saying he's happy with his defence, why are we doubting him?
That's where I'm at with it as well. Sorry, really.
Come on, guys, come on though. This is we're now at head in sand time, aren't we? We're now. Listen. Antonio Conte is a serial winning manager, right? As I said, I'll always say this. Forget whether I like him or not. Antonio Conte is a serial winning manager that has had defenders at his disposal like Bonucci, Barzaglia, right? Chiellini, Skriniar, Bastoni, De Vrij, right?
The really great ones.
You truly believe that he's looking at our centre backs and going, I'm happy. I don't know many managers that come out and will actually say, yeah, I desperately need new defenders. But if we're saying that, right, this is where we've got the kind of this in our fan base, right? We have got fans that are saying he's got the tools. If he doesn't get top 4, it's a failure. Then we've got fans saying he does not have the tools. If he gets top 4, it's a miracle. And that is, how can we be
it is a miracle.
So far away from each other?
But Sava, none of us on this show and no Spurs fan will say we are happy that we don't need to get another centre back. That's not what I'm trying to say, and I don't think that's what Phil said. What we're saying is that if Conte has come out and said, I am happy with what I've got for now, then we can't turn around and say, oh no, forget what you're saying, Conte. We're going to buy you a centre back, and if it's not the one you want, you're not going to play him.
This comes back to what you said though, right? When people are saying, why wouldn't he leave if he's not happy on the 1st February tomorrow? You said, look how much money he's being paid.
Yeah.
So why is he going to come out and say, I am unhappy with my defenders when he knows the Levy at any moment could go, hang on, I can't have that in the press.
But what happens? No, what happens if he sacks him? He gets paid. So it makes. So why wouldn't he in that argument?
I'm sorry.
He's not going to walk himself because then he walks away from his money. But if he comes out and says, I'm happy with what I've got, that's a contradiction to him coming out and saying, yeah, sack me, because if you sack me, I'm going to get paid off. So if he wants to leave, he'd be quite happy to get sacked.
To be fair, Soren, you believe that he's happy with his defence in the same way I do.
No. That's not what I'm saying, and that's not what Phil's saying either. What we're saying is that he's come out and he said he's happy with what he's got at the moment. I'm not saying he thinks they're brilliant. I'm not saying that. What we're saying is that
psychology behind why he's saying it is though. Why would he be saying that? Because it's anyone with a functional brain knows our centre back.
Hang on. So if he said it, why would he lie?
I just trust in the manager in what he's saying at the minute, and if he gets us over the line and gets us top 4 and maybe gets us an FA Cup, then we'll all be changing our mind on him, won't we? And changing our mind on the centre back position. So we all fully believe that a centre back is an issue in obviously us fans. But I'm just trusting in the manager and what he's saying at the minute. And if he gets us over the line, then he's done his job, and he's succeeded, and he's got us into that top 4 and got us a trophy as well. So, and then we go on to the next level where we get these centre backs in the summer. So I'm just going off what he's saying at the minute. So
can I ask a question then? If we're at the stage where we're going to play this game, we're playing the game that we believe every word that comes out of Conte's mouth.
No.
Right? Or are we picking and choosing what we want to believe? Right?
No,
because, hang on.
Yeah,
if we're going to believe every word that comes out of this guy's mouth, then surely that completely ruins your argument about trusting the manager and everything he says. Because this guy, 1 week, is the happiest man alive. I love my squad. I've got enough. The next week, it's, listen, the club have limitations. Phil, you hang on. You two have just said you believe what the manager says.
Yeah.
This manager in the last month has turned around and told you, me, and every other fan, that the club wants young players with cheap salaries.
Yeah.
Right? But in the same breath, you think that we'll go and add those top centre-backs he wants
I didn't
in
say
the
that.
summer.
Right. So to
he-
contradict
he
you,
may-
right?
He may well do. He may well do.
Which one is it? No, which
Who
one is
knows?
it?
Sava.
No, hang on. I'm asking Phil a question. Which one is it? Does the club want young players on cheap salaries, or are they going to go and get in the top centre backs that you think we might get him in the summer? Which one is it?
Who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
This is the point, Phil. You can't say in one breath. You can't say, "Oh, I'm going to trust what the manager says," but then we ignore all the negative he says.
No, what I'm saying is that he's saying that we don't need centre backs right now.
Of course,
right now, towards the end of the season, to get us over that line, to get us where we need to be this season. That's where I'm trusting him. Is where if he's saying we don't need a centre back this season, then I'm trusting him on that.
Yeah.
But he probably thinks that we do need centre backs going forward after this season. So that's where I'm judging him at the minute.
Right, Sava then.
I'm not judging it like in the future.
Okay, cool. I'll tell you what then. So all of these people that ever go at people like me and Perchie, right? All of these people like me and Perchie that say, okay, we're allowed to blame the manager for certain things. And people go, you can't at all because he's not being backed by Enoch and Levy. That means we can now blame him each week, right? Because he's got the tools to do the job.
Right, Sava.
Tomorrow, I'd have a house tomorrow.
Right, Sava, I'll throw something at you then. So on what you've just said about believing some things and not, why is it everybody can believe Conte when he comes out and says he's not getting back or he's not getting the players he wants, but we can't believe him then when he says I'm not saying you said it. I'm not saying you said
it. Me too. I don't believe a word he says.
The guy speaks in riddles and he's playing the game to see it through his contract.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, me and you, and I'm guessing Perchid from what I'm listening to. I don't think we should have ever taken Conte on. He is not the manager.
No, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
You know, and the thing is now, I mean, Phil's just said it. He's trusting Conte. Well, that's fine, and I don't trust Conte, but we've got to, if we're going to believe that when he slags the board off, we've got to believe him when he says he's happy with certain things. What do we rate the window? Oh, it's got to be a 9 out of 10, surely.
2.
I would say 5. I'm going to say 5 out of 10.
I'm giving it a
2.
So I was going to say, based on what, is it a 5 though? Genuinely.
Right. So the reason I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 is because for once we have actually, and forget how long it's taken, I'm not going on. We have for once identified a position that we really needed to strengthen, and we've got the number one target. That's all I'm going to say.
But was he the number one target?
Pardon?
Was he the number one target?
I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
Lauren, do you rate...
Unless you know something different, Haz, because I'm pretty... I keep hearing how you know all these things.
Lauren, do you rate this window higher than I rate the summer window? Because I only rate the summer window a 4.
Yeah, but
me too.
I mean, but this is where we're saying it's all personal injection. I thought the summer window was...
We made ourselves a meme. I go out in my Spurs shirt and I'm getting laughed at. We've made a right joke of ourselves. We're a right arse.
Right, can I ask you one question on that then? So, 2 weeks into the summer window, what did you rate it?
Liverpool to sign Cody Gakpo.
No, forget that. 2 weeks into the summer window, what was you rating it?
Cody Gakpo. A great player, by the way.
2 weeks into the summer window, what did you rate it?
I can't actually remember who we'd signed up to that point.
Virtually everybody we'd got apart from Jed Spence.
I actually hate Conte for what he's done to Jed Spence.
You're not answering the question.
I do.
4.
Just that. Lucky to get a 4. We're desperate for a
we were all sitting on streams and saying, so far it's a 7 out of 10, and then it kept dropping and dropping and dropping, which is exactly right. By the end of it, we were all disappointed.
How well is Richarlison done in centre back?
Sorry?
How well is Richarlison done in centre back? That's where we needed to strengthen.
Yeah, but that's
If you ever watch Kieran Dyer play against Liverpool,
You
you
can't
don't believe
come
he's
out
got
and
enough
say,
of a
well, how
defence.
good is Richarlison as a centre back? That's
What
not
on
his
earth are we,
position.
what on earth are we doing signing players like that when we need defence? I've got
I
a good
don't
hot take for
disagree
you,
with you.
actually.
I don't disagree. We do need defence. And
I've got a
I
very good
don't
hot
think
take for you,
anybody
actually. That
disagrees
will
with
fight for
that.
the best.
But
I don't
Hang on,
think.
sorry, you're both
I
talking
don't
at the
think
same
Delete
time. I
has been
can't
that
hear
bad
either of
this
you.
year. I think it's just the whole shit he's got in front of him.
Right, okay, but listen, let's keep it on point. Yeah, we understand that we all needed a centre back. We didn't need Richarlison, but that happened, right? This for me is the, hang on, Martin. This for me is the overriding. Leslie, we don't always see eye to eye, but this I agree with. This is the problem of our club.
yeah,
If Poro is brilliant, it will be he's a Conte signing. If he's shit,
Not in those leagues,
if he's shit, everyone will say we didn't back Conte with the player he wanted. And
Exactly.
I can't disagree with this sentence in
Spot
any way,
on.
shape, or form, because that's what we're seeing. It's
Sub
the
it.
same. It's the same for those fans that want Danjuma to be bad to prove their point.
I don't want to think that.
No, I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying there are fans that want him to be bad. There are fans. Danjuma could score 10 out of 10 in his next 10 games. And all those fans would say is, yeah, but look who he scored against.
Yeah. I don't understand the negativity around Danjuma's the signing.
Neither do I. I don't get it at all.
I actually think he's not a bad signing. In all honesty, I think Hill needed to go out on loan anyway, and Danjuma I think is an upgrade on Hill at this moment in time. I think he has got potential, and I think he's got potential to be a good player. But Sav, I'd just like to ask you a question. Do you think we have enough in the squad to get the top four, which was our expectation at the start of the season? And do you think we will win a trophy, and i.e. a FA Cup? Because I don't think Champions League is.
Can I answer your two questions the other way around? No, absolutely, we're not winning a trophy. Got no interest in. No, I've got no interest in even fooling myself that we're going to win a trophy unless we keep playing all of these poor teams we're playing right to the final. The moment we play a top team, we are losing. That's what we've done all season. To answer your question about top four, I think the key thing here is it's not just about what we had at the beginning of the season. You've got to evolve. And what we've seen here is Man United and Newcastle have been a lot better than I think all of us would have thought at the beginning of the season. And they've leapfrogged us. And I don't think we've done anything to try and wrestle back that power. I think we've sat and watched and we've gone, okay, we're just bringing a right wing back. And that's why, for me, this window was a case of saying, all right, Arsenal are 17 points clear of us with a game in hand, right?
Yeah.
Arsenal have done they were 2 points behind us, a 19-point swing in half a season, right? Man United, I mean, how many points did Man United finish behind us last year? Look at the swinging points this year again, right? Newcastle, look at the swinging points. So for me, it wasn't about what did we have at the beginning of the year. It was about, right, you've now got another chance to go again.
I think Eriksen's going to be a big miss for them.
Yeah, but if they go and get Sabitzer, they're laughing. This is what they do.
He's not the same sort of player as Eriksen. I don't think he's as
Bruno
good as
Fernandes
Eriksen.
there.
Yeah, but the thing is, Phil, this is the thing. Ten Hag's a coach. Ten Hag will tweak the system to get Bruno and Sabitzer. Listen, if you said to me our midfield three is Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, and Sabitzer, I will bite your hand off for that middle three.
Yeah.
Can I just ask this though, Sav? You've just kind of said something perfect in there where you've said Ten Hag's a coach. Conte's not. Conte puts the right players into the right positions, and when he hasn't got the right players, he's nothing. He can't motivate the players.
I agree with that, sorry. I said Conte wasn't the right coach for Tottenham at the start because we only suit a project manager like a Potter or someone like that.
No,
really,
I disagree with you there, Phil.
With these owners, we do.
No, we don't just suit a project manager. What we suit is the same style of manager coming in once you've started that project. Now, this is where we failed when Poch left. We got Mourinho in. Totally different style of manager, and we went a totally different route. Well, that was a cock-up. We're looking at things now, and we're talking about players. Is it a Conte signing? Isn't it a Conte signing? The only one that I will say definitely wasn't a Conte signing, we know, is Jed Spence. Now, are we all sitting here and saying Conte didn't approve the rest of the players to come in? Because I'm pretty sure he would have been asked, are you happy with this player? Can you do anything with him? And if he's got any sense, he would either say yes or no. Now, if he said yes, then it's a Conte signing. Doesn't matter whether it was his initial thing. If he said yes, he wants that player, it becomes a Conte signing, surely.
I mean, we've spent all this time trying to replace a right wing back, and we never even needed it. He's been sat in our club the whole time. He's just too stubborn to bloody use him.
Who?
I actually despise Conte for what he's done to Spence.
I don't think Spence is. I think he does. He needs a loan anyway, in my opinion, because he ain't getting the game time. But I think Poro is our right wing back for a good number of years, in my opinion. I think he's a quality addition to our squad, to our first 11, in fact.
He looked half of the man he did end of last season. He just looked, he was done.
I think he's got potential to replace Walker.
Bloody change things up.
Listen, just quickly, I do need to stop the show in a couple of minutes. Just quickly, I will say, just before I read some super chats, I think, look, I say that's a bit harsh to despise Conte for what he's done to Jed Spence.
I think it's possible to ruin a 21-year-old's mental health, really.
Okay, well, look, let's not have mental health discussions. I really don't want that to be on my channel at all. But look, for all we know, look, I've been an advocate that I would like to see Spence given a game. I'm not going to lie, I have. But equally, when we're saying we've got the player there, we don't know that. I think the agitation from Spurs fans is that we haven't had the chance to see. But Poro, I think I agree with you, Phil, could be for years to come and can play right back and right wing back. So for me, even if Conte goes and we get a manager that plays a 4, you have got your right back in there as well. But I am going to read out some super chats. Tin Man, thank you very much. I said Tabani, a young centre back that is an upgrade to Darren Davis, just gone to Bournemouth for 24 million. Yeah, little old spares get loaned. So can't agree more. Seeing this guy play, very good.
Quality centre back.
He will go to Bournemouth. Everyone, what people say is, oh, why go Bournemouth if some good? He'll go to Bournemouth. He'll be there a maximum of 18 months, 2 years. He'll get that jump, right? Richard Knight, just Richard Knight being Richard Knight. Thank you very much, sir. Bob Spur, my man, hope you're well, has said, let's speak facts. Put all the financial bullcrap angle on it all you want. 9th richest club on the planet. That should dictate your ambition. Completely agree. And Foggy Foam has said 75 million on Poro and Kulu in the summer, plus 100 million on 2 centre-backs. And I think that's what we've got to take into account, guys. The loans are great, but it does mean that then in the next window, you're then having to pay out.
Also, he's missed out on there. If Danjuma does turn out well, that also goes in on that. That will be another £20 million on that.
Yeah, so you're looking at
100 million or an obligation.
It's not an option for Danjuma of 20 million.
Yeah. We got to buy Danjuma.
No, we don't have to. But if he comes good, then we can do.
I think he does.
With these signings that we brought in as well, Sava, and everyone on the panel, do you think like a couple of signings can galvanise? You know, with the signings that we've made, can galvanise the squad into the second half of the season?
No, it's not enough.
What have we bought to galvanise them? A right wing back.
It's just freshening up the squad, freshening up the players. Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to say and sit on the fence in a bit. I kind of get what you're saying, but the biggest point I made earlier is we needed to get players out, and I don't mean sending them out on loan for half a season. I mean getting players out of the football club.
Yeah.
And this is the problem about refreshing. It's all well and good, yes. You can bring in 3 or 4 players to refresh, but we need to get a lot of garbage out of this football club. And as I say, properly out of this football club, not dumped on loan to some club that we still have to deal with it. I feel like with us at the moment, what we're doing is everything we do in our transfer windows is so we can deal with it on another day.
Yeah,
And
I think
this is our biggest problem at the moment.
I think you will see that at the end of the season. You'll see a lot of players gone, like the Lo Celsos and then Dumbailey's and players like that, etc. So I think you will see that at the end of the season, whether Conte is there or not.
I keep hearing this the problem is, Phil, I love your optimism, but everything you're saying, I've heard for the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 windows, and it never changes. And I guarantee, guys, we'll be sitting here on the 31st of January next year having the same bloody conversation.
Yeah, it's so true.
No matter who the manager is.
One question I will put to you, Sav, is now we've got Poro in, and it's a type of signing that Conte has been wanting, that attacking wing back. Do you think the way we play might slightly change now? Now he's got somebody he can trust rather than Emerson pretending to play that position. Do you think now that we might actually start to see a slightly different attack style?
I think we will from an outlet on the right-hand side, definitely. But I still don't think they've bought the tools around it to supplement it. We've still not bought a creative midfielder. We've still not bought centre-halves that can bring the ball out and start attack. So, listen, I'm not knocking it as a signing. It's a good signing. It's just, as a standalone, looking at the window as a whole, I'm just really, really disappointed.
Sam, I've got to go to my birthday meal, mate.
Take care, mate. Thank you.
Take care.
Nice to meet you all, even you, Soren. I hope I can find that kind of positive.
One day we'll have a drink, mate, and laugh about it.
We just need to bring this group back together somehow, Spurs fans. We need to stop that.
Yeah.
Respect you. Hope we sign someone massive tonight. Respect.
See you later, mate.
All right, mate. Last thing, listen, I'm gonna stop the show there. Just want to say, Daniel, when he said hi, Sav, I'm a big fan of the show, but the panel is too one-sided. You need to get more people from ENIC to have a good conversation. Otherwise, it's just a group of guys complaining, not a good watch. Daniel, I would like to think that I'm pretty famous for allowing anyone onto my show. I can't force people in the chat to come on. I can't force ENIC in people to watch my show. It's really, really difficult. I start the show by saying, right, happy to have anyone in who is ENIC to have that chat. So it's like the person who said to me, you don't have enough females on the show. I can't force females to come into the chat, right? Guys, I am going to leave it there. Look, all in all, it is what it is. For me, a typical Spurs window. Nothing to suggest we should have left White Hart Lane. I'd much rather be watching football there. But it is what it is. Go on, sorry.
Can I just ask one really, really quick question? Just to sort of go on to that one. On the panel, is any of you actually ENIC out then?
You make out? Yeah? What are you talking about?
I just wasn't clear on it. That was
I was at the process the other day, so yeah.
I know.
So listen, first of all, thank you, Perchy. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Haz. Thank you, Soren. Thank you, Martin, who came on, and Pyrex, who came on, and Elias, who came on. Thank you to everyone with the super chats. It is much appreciated. Please jump over to Henry Wright TV at 5:30 p.m. He's going to be doing a transfer show from 5:30 through to midnight. And for my sins, I've agreed to.
Oh, wow.
So he's asked me to go on as well.
So that's going to be good fun. I'll see you there, Perchy. Everyone else, much love. And as always, ENIC and Levy out.
Levy out.
Please get a centre back in. Cheers, guys. See you later.
Take care.
See ya.